Hi, this is lesson number 27 from our Photoshop training series. In this exercise, we are going to learn about pen tool in Photoshop. We will cover all the basic of the pen tool, and also I will introduce you the pen tool family. The shortcut key for the pen tool is P. Once you will press letter P from the keyboard, you can activate the pen tool. In our toolbox, here we have pen tool. When you will click and hold on the pen tool, you will see the basic and all the tool associated with the pen tool. Here we have three type of pen tool. The first one is the basic pen. Then we have freeform pen tool. The third one is curvature pen tool. And the last three, you can say they are the helper tool we need when we are working with the pen. Basically, we are using pen tool to create shape or path. In Photoshop, you can create vector object using pen tool. Text tool is also vector, and any shape that you will create using default shapes or custom shape, that's also vector. Let's talk about raster and vector. Photoshop is a raster based program. It consists pixels. I have image here. If we will zoom, clearly you can see the image is constructed by small squares, and each square is having different color detail. These 100 and 1000 squares form the image. In the other hand, we have vector shapes or images, and using specific applications such as CorelDraw or Adobe Illustrator, we can create vector shapes. Vector objects are highly scalable and free of pixels. Here I will show you the difference between vector and raster object. Raster images are based on the pixel. On the other hand, vector object is created by a mathematical formula. It's a geometric object, such as if you will connect x point with a specific distance to the y, you can see it will create line, and then y to the z and z to the x, it will form the shape. But it doesn't mean that if we will create anything with the brush tool or pencil tool using straight line, it will be vector. Vector object or shape we can create only with a tool which is specifically designed for vector, such as pen tool. Here you can see in my screen I have a triangular shape, and this is just an image based on pixel. Using this triangle as a guideline, we will create vector shape with the pen tool. The pen tool is selected, and here you can see the shape mode is active. If I want, I can click and choose path. Using pen tool, we can create path and shape. Path is simply a line with a multiple segment with no thickness. So the path mode is active, and here is the triangle we have in the layer. Let's create the path here. Click and click on the first point to close. So this is how we have simple path. Now this path you cannot see anymore in the layer palette. It is in the path palette. Look at this, here we have a path. If you click outside, now it is not selected. If I want, I can click. This is how we can access. And there is a two more important tools associated with the pen: path selection tool and direct selection tool. Path selection tool is to select the path, and direct selection tool we are using to edit the path. The shortcut you can see here, letter A. We can select the path with the path selection tool. If I click, you can see now the path is active. This is a simple path with no fill and no thickness. If we will right click, here we have different options. We can make selection from this path. We can fill the path as a pixel object, or we can add stroke using pencil or brush. But if we want to get shape from this path, we need to go back to the layer palette and click on create new fill or adjustment layer, and simply choose solid color. Let's add similar color and then click OK. So here we have shape. Using that path, we created this shape, and once the shape will be formed, it will be in the layer palette. Now when we will go back to the path palette, this is the basic path previously we created, and using this path we created this shape by create new fill or adjustment layer, and this shape you can see in the layer palette. Now the shape is selected. If I will click and drag, I can move. Path selection tool is active, and in our layer palette you can see the difference between two layers. This is the raster object, based on pixel, and it is having a regular thumb. But in the shape you can see here we have small square with the 4 anchor points. This is indicating that this is a vector object. If we will see on our screen, it looks same, but there is a big difference. Let's select with the move tool. If I will click on this object and reduce the size, hit enter and scale back again, you can see it's get blurred. It lost the quality. It is because once we scale down, Photoshop burn the pixel into that smaller size, and when we scale up again, it lost the detail. But on other hand, if I will select this vector shape and reduce the size, hit enter, scale up again, you can see it is still sharp and crisp. Let's try once again. It is still the same. So this is the main difference between raster and vector objects. Another thing, vector shape we can edit easily. This object is fixed. Using transform control little bit we can reshape it, but vector object is really flexible. We can edit based on nodes and anchor point. This triangular shape is selected with the move tool. If directly we will click on the pen tool, now pen tool will not recognize this object, and if we will click, it will create new object. Using pen tool, if we want to edit this object, the first thing we need to do, we need to select with the selection path selection tool. Once the object is selected with the path selection tool, we can click on pen, and now when you will bring your mouse over the shape, easily pen tool can recognize that it is vector shape. Here we have 3 points, and between these 3 anchor points we have segment. When we will bring pen tool over this segment, you can see there is a plus sign. This plus is indicating that pen tool is going to add new point there. It is because you can see here auto add and delete point is selected. If this option is checked, if I will click, I will be able to add anchor point, and you can see with this anchor point we have directional handle. And once you will click on the created anchor point, you will be able to delete it. Now when I will bring my mouse over this point, there is a small minus sign. It is indicating that we can delete this point. So if I will click, the point is gone. To add or delete the anchor point, also we can use the tool here, add anchor point, delete anchor point. But if the pen tool is active with this option, directly we can access these both options. Once we will click, we will be able to add the point. To edit this point, we need to use direct selection tool. And how to access the direct selection tool directly on our screen, we can just press control key from the keyboard, and now direct selection tool is active. We can click and move this. So you can see the shape is curved because we have directional handles. Let's undo. By pressing control key, we can access the direct selection tool, and if we will press alt key, we will be able to activate convert point tool. That is here, convert point tool. So what is the functionality of convert point tool? It can create directional handle, it can delete the directional handle, and also it can break these 2 handles from the anchor point. So if I will press alt key and click, now no more handles we have, and we get here sharp anchor point. Now by pressing control key, I can activate direct selection tool and I can move this point, and now you can see clearly there is no curve. Control Z, undo. And if we want to get back again directional handles, press alt key, bring your mouse over this point, click and drag, so we can form the handle again. Now on this point, if we want to edit, we will press control key to activate the direct selection tool and click on this point and move. So now we have curve on this segment. We are holding the control key and direct selection tool is active. If I will bring my mouse over this point, I will be able to edit the curve this way. Look at this, from both sides, directional handle moving. In some cases, we need to break the handle. So to break the handle, we need again convert point tool, and for that we will press alt key and bring our mouse to the handle we are going to break from the center point. Click and drag. Now look at this. This handle is broken, and independently it will work from the both side of this anchor point. Separately I can edit from both sides. So using convert point tool, we can create directional handle, we can delete, and we can also break them to get the desired object or shape. Here I have another object for demonstration. This flower is having sharp corner and smooth curve. So this type of shape we can easily create using pen tool. We can create half and then we can mirror to the other side to get the perfect symmetry. But for demonstration purpose, we are going to draw this. So the pen tool is active and here we have path. This time directly we are going to create shape. So we can change the path mode to shape. The color we can change. So let's start from the top corner. Once I click, notice here in my layer palette, automatically Photoshop added new layer as shape 1. So the first point is created. Now here we have curve. Directly if we want to form the curve, we can click and drag this way. We have two directional handles. So this is how we have curvy segment. Now on this point here we need sharp corner. So if I will click again here, look at this. Now since upcoming handle is directed this way, so it is forming the different shape. So what we need to do, we'll go back, undo. Here we need to break this handle and change the direction. To do that, we learned already, we need to press Alt key to activate the curve point tool. Press Alt key and change the direction of this handle this way. Click here, click and drag to get your desired curve. This is happening because wherever the first segment and last segment is parallel, it is adding the fill. If you are not comfortable, you can just click, make it none, and later we can add the color. Now this handle we need to break it. So once again press Alt key, just change the direction this way, click and drag, click and drag. And now here we need sharp corner. We can even click, since we have directional handle from this side. If I will click, we have sharp corner here, and to adjust this handle we'll press Control key. Now click here, press Alt key, break the handle and click and drag. So this is how using pen tool we created this shape. We have shape here, but this is without fill and stroke, and it is selected with the pen tool. If I will click on move tool, the shape is selected in the layer palette, but you cannot see even the path. So on this point here we need to use path selection tool. Here we have path selection, and now it is active since the layer was selected. And here we have fill and stroke. We are going to add the color. So click and choose your desired color, and it's filled. We can move, and this is how we created directly shape using pen tool. In our path palette you can see shape 1, since the color is filled under the triangle, we have here petal shape. Click on move tool, hit enter key. This vector shape we created based on this pixel object. Let's turn off this layer, and after this here we have another layer, that is a leaf. Now we are going to create this shape using curvature pen tool. Next to the pen is a freeform pen tool. I'm sure you will not use much because you cannot control the path. Just you need to click and drag to form the path this way, and this is what we don't need most of the time. Control Z, undo. So the third tool is curvature tool. That is really good tool, and you can say this is a good alternate of the polygonal lasso tool if you are going to make selection, or you are going to select the main subject from the complex background, because polygonal lasso tool, it will create corner on the curve, but the curvature pen tool can curve the path automatically. So let's select the curvature pen tool. It is selected. The functionality of the curvature pen tool is you will click to start, then just go along the path and automatically it will form the curve as you go. Look at this. And now here we have sharp corner. If I will directly click here and go forward, now look at this, it formed the curve here. So to avoid this, Control Z, undo. we need to double click here. You can press Alt key and click or double click. So once you will double click, curvature pen tool knows that we are going to add corner point here. Then go ahead. All what you have to do, you need to just click along the edge and it will form the curve. Now here we are going to close. So once again we need to double click. If we will just click, it will create curve. We need sharp corner here, so double click. So this how easy is the curvature pen tool. It will form the curve along the path as you go. Now we have smooth path with the 2 corner, and these corner, if you want to make it smooth, you can press Alt key to activate curve point tool and click. It will not form the handle. It will give you just curve this way, and if we want, we can click back again to get the sharp corner. So this how we form this shape with the curvature pen tool. Now if we want to fill color, we can choose the color, and even it is possible if we want the thickness for the outline, we can add the size. Let's add some different color, little bit dark so you can see, and the pixel we can increase. So now along the edges you can see we have here stroke. So click on move tool and move this object. So based on this, we created this leaf using curvature pen tool. Let's resize and place it. Alright, turn off this. Using pen tool also we can create open path with a starting point and end point. To do that, it is simple. We'll use pen tool. Pen tool is selected. If we want to create path with a stroke, we need to change the mode to shape. The shape mode is active. It is important to keep the shape mode if you are going to add stroke over the path. And here we have stroke with the green color. If I will click and drag, so here we have smooth curve. And for this smooth curve, you can see Photoshop added new layer shape 3. Now here we have option. If we want, we can add the thickness. So this is how we have just vector line, and it is open path having starting point and end point, and we added thickness using stroke, and the color is green. Using pen tool also we can make selection with our main subject if that is surrounded with the complex background. Here we have object with the background. This object is having sharp edges. We can select with any selection tool. We can use even magic wand tool to access, but for demonstration purpose I will use pen tool to select this object. The pen tool is selected and the mode is shape. In order to select object, we can change the mode to path. We can make selection this way. By pressing space bar key, you can activate the hand tool. Click and drag. Here we have a little bit curve on the edge. Click and drag. And this is how we have closed path. To create selection from this path, it is simple. Right click and click on make selection. Click OK. So we have selection around our main subject. By pressing Ctrl J, we can copy the selected area, or if we want, we can add mask. So here I am going to add layer mask. Before you click, you need to make sure that the layer is selected. We need to select layer 6, that is this image, and click on add layer mask. So we don't have background. To add solid or gradient fill, we need to click on create new fill or adjustment layer, and let's add gradient. We have transparent gradient. We can click on this drop down to choose, and here we have basics. From the basic, I will take 2 color and then click here to add it. This side we want some dark shade, something like this. Click other side and choose some light color. So this is how we have background. Click OK. Now this adjustment layer is the image. We need to just click on the image and bring it up. This is how we change the background. To make it a little bit more realistic, if we want, we can add shadow. click on gradient fill and add new layer. Use brush tool, and here we have brush size. Previously I did, so it is in this shape. In your case it might be like this, so you need to just hold it from the top and reshape your brush this way. Hardness 0%. Our color is black. We are in the new layer and simply dab, and we have a shadow. If you want, you can adjust with the opacity, and that's all. This how using pen tool we can make more precise selection if the main subject is surrounded by busy background. I think that is more than enough. Use the basic pen tool, curvature pen tool. The shortcut key for the pen tool is P, and to activate direct selection tool you need to press Control key. By pressing Alt key we can activate curve point tool. You can just Google the similar shapes and image for your practice purpose. That's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you like this video, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and click on the bell notification so you will be notified every time I upload new video. Thank you.